I don't care about spring. We're doing business.
You'll be in trouble.
I mean, well, I was just him, so he's not.
I know.
I didn't have lunch today, so I'm very happy about that.
I do have a two before her. I need to discuss it.
We're live. Almost. Yeah, we are.
We just can't see ourselves.
All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to the May 20th, 2021 school board meeting. Everybody would rise and pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make that a motion, please.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Public comments. Anybody sign up for public comments? All right. So we have comments submitted by the GEA. Good afternoon. We, as the Giles Education Association, have seen. We are humbled with all that we have accomplished despite the odds seeming to always be stacked against us and our students. We have witnessed countless acts of those faculty and staff going beyond what they are required to do in their everyday job. Cafeteria workers, Christy Lawson, and the meal delivery volunteers who have done a phenomenal job with their students, the custodians, and the maintenance who tirelessly ensure our safety in the buildings each and every day, teachers who work above and beyond their contract, all hours of the day, including many weekends, to ensure that their students get the best educational experience possible. The teachers' assistants, who are heroes by stepping up with every duty from covering classes, riding buses, checking in on students, building administrators who have been overcoming one challenge over another, the county for providing funds and the opportunity for vaccines, Dr. Arbogast and Ms. Mustaine for their leadership and unwavering support during this time, and each of you on this board for sticking it out and making difficult decisions for every individual involved. We commend every single person involved in the challenges of the past 14 months. We will rise up, as we always do, but not without the support of one another. As always, we learn from our mistakes and challenges and adjust accordingly, just as we do our well thought out lesson plans that may go in a totally different direction than we expected in our classroom. Our staff and faculty deserve the recognition and compensation for being transitional and dedicated every moment, even beyond the pandemic. As we look ahead, we need to retain our dedicated educators and support staff. I challenge you to support that endeavor as we work together for the amazing students of this county. Sincerely, Katie Burke. And on behalf of the board, I will say not to just GEA, but all teachers and everybody that mentioned in that, we are probably the least stressed of all of the folks mentioned in that letter from Katie. So we're just super happy to have the team that we've got, and just continue to have patience with us as we absolutely fight to the end for everybody that makes this school system the great school system that it is. So I don't know, it's not really in order, but I think that's really a very positive statement and letter to everybody. If anybody on the board wants to make any comment to that, I'm absolutely okay for anybody commenting. Jason, you got anything?
No, I just echo what you said. Thank everyone that this has been a challenging year for everyone. Like you said, it's been challenging for us, but didn't have to live it every single day, like everybody on our staff and students, and just proud of what they do.
Mark?
I feel the same way. Yeah, thanks for everybody else. And like Stevie said, not that it was easy, but we had the easiest job. And and our students, I mean, good gracious, I mean, you feel sorry for them, what they've been through. But everybody had to work together, and we'll have times ahead of us, but you're not gonna get done unless you work together. We found that out, and we know that from this point on.
Right, it was really a great team effort, and really proud of everybody for all that they done. We all had to step up, and especially our teachers, our parents, our kids, and like Katie said, I mean, Terry and Lisa just work continuously, so I just appreciate it. I'm just glad where we're at right now instead of a year ago. It's kind of hard to believe, to sit back and look at it and think, oh my gosh, that we got through that. So yeah, I'm just tickled, ready for next year to be back to normal.
Yeah, just what everybody said up here is really appreciate everybody, the work that y'all done. Dr. Arbogast, on down, everybody, you done a marvelous job. Couldn't ask for better people, and we got through it. Like I said, Mark said, it's a team effort. Couldn't have done it without everybody, so we really appreciate it. Thank you.
So with all the pain and suffering we've been through, graduation, no restrictions. So I think what I told somebody the other day is people's last memory is really sometimes their only memory. So for us to be able to finish out, give the community a chance to have a normal celebration. Amen.
Right.
So I always give a hand to everybody. We will look forward to those graduations.
He's really not, he's gonna be crying all day.
I've been sworn that I will not do that.
He might tie you up, and I'll let you go.
We got, do we have?
Yeah, she's there. You want to do that, or you want to do the presentations first?
Could she hear me? Does she have a few minutes?
Okay, she can hear you.
Are you okay for us to do a few more items of business? Before I know you're probably on several agendas for several boards, but.
Caitlin, we can't hear you. I can't hear you. So we're gonna have to see what's on our end. It might be on our end.
We'll be looking at that. We got a few more items, and then we'll bring you right up, if you're okay with that. Okay.
Here.
So, Dr. Arbogast, we have some presentations.
You want to join it down front, please? On behalf of the Giles County School Board and myself, I would like to take the opportunity to recognize this individual. He has put in countless hours, and I don't know that anybody could ever quantify the number of hours he's put in working on behalf of the school system, because he cares about the kids, he cares about the staff, and he cares about the facilities that we have. He always has, and I've had the privilege to have the opportunity to work with him the last 17 years as superintendent here. So at this time, I'd like to ask John Mills to come forward and please be recognized by the school board for his dedication and his work for the school system. Thank you. And if I know John Mills,
He ain't retired. This is a big.
he would like to.
It's a
He would
transition.
like to say something.
Well, you do know me well. I'll tell you, since you can't fire me, I'm gonna take this mask off. Cause I know she's gonna take a picture and I'm on my best side. If there is something. But, I'll tell you right now, without reservation, it has been an honor and a privilege to be allowed to serve the children, the people of this great county. And I'm gonna tell you something. Old John had a little scare a couple weeks ago, and I told McClarney he's gonna preach my funeral when I finally croak if I beat him under the ground. But and I've always made him promise to make sure there's not a dry eye before he quits. But the way that I've been treated, it is humbling, and it touches my heart. Folks have called and the prayer chains, and I'll tell you what y'all always realize with your comments from the GEA. We live in the best part of the world. I've lived other places, I've worked other places, and this is the best, bar none. And Terry and I, 17 years ago, we sat in his office and we shook hands on a partnership. And nobody knows what was said but he and I, but this I assure you, we both kept our word. And it's worked, hasn't it?
Yes, sir.
And I'm just grateful for all of you, and it's a little bit scary, you know. By the time I finally get retired, I worked 50 years of my life. I started when I was 15 years old. And I also got to admit that the job with you guys and with the county has defined me. That's who John Mills is or was. But I hope to continue to make contributions. And I'm telling you right now, if you ever get in a bind and you need old man, I'll be there. But thanks again. God bless.
Know your phone call away.
Your phone call away, this means a lot to me. I'm telling you. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you.
You go ahead. Yep.
He's going to
Also, on behalf of the Giles County School Board and myself, we would like to take this opportunity to recognize Coach Havens and the Giles Lady Spartans volleyball team. Congratulations, ladies, y'all can come up too. Y'all are here for this. Thank y'all, congratulations. Y'all, everybody's very proud of what you did. Congratulations, great job.
I have to say something. I'm sorry, I've got to say something. I didn't get to go to the Glenford game. I listened to it on the radio. And I was against listening to it. But some loudmouth fan kept interrupting the radio and kept making cheers and screaming at the girls.
Going down the steps.
Screaming at. And so I called Mrs. Boggs. I said, please tell that loudmouth to be quiet. I can't enjoy the game. She goes, I can't do that. I said, why? You're a representative. I'm a board member. Well, it's a board member that's but you know, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching, and I enjoyed your guys' offense. You got a great offense, but I played volleyball all my life, believe it or not. Put a lot of hours into it, and I ain't gonna say I was good. I was great. No, that's not true. What set y'all apart, I think, was your defense. Man, I loved your all's defense. And from watching you all interact with each other, from watching you all and watching other volleyball teams and jobs over the years and other teams, football or whatever, I think what set you all apart, you all was a team. And very few teams pass through these schools like you all. And there's not a doubt in my mind, if you all would have got beat the state championship, you would have been fine. because you was a team. And I think that's why you all so good, you know, so I applaud you for that. And that's got to do with your coach, that's got to do with parents, it's got to do with your teammates. So, man, I enjoyed watching you, and a lot of us did, so.
I have to tell you, you're not gonna believe this, but I had to go buy a red shirt. I wore a red shirt.
Oh, man.
She looked good at it.
It was not in my color or my closet, but I went and bought one special. Again, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad I got to be a part of watching you guys, and it was fun.
We got some picture that we reserved.
Oh, I know.
know. You in that red shirt.
Hey, I wore it proud. I was proud of you girls.
Thank
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Mandy, would you like to say something?
This has just been a 20+ year dream for me. Playing as a kid at their age at Giles, it would just never seem possible. We didn't have any girls this tall. For a while I wondered if we could grow them this tall in Giles County. But they worked harder than any group. They've worked hard for years, since they were teeny little future Spartans, and I couldn't be more proud of their grit. I couldn't be more proud of how they conducted themselves. I have never, in all of my years of coaching, and I've been part of the coaching staff since 2005, I had never been a part of a game where we lost the first 2 sets and then came back and won the last 3. That was phenomenal. Still have a little trouble going back and watching that one on video because it still makes me nervous to watch it because it was pretty intense. But I'm just so very proud, and thank you guys for your support over the years and for me being able to have the opportunity to coach these ladies.
Well, the state championship game was a little bit boring.
that's how I like it. It's good.
But that's okay.
Yes. Yes. I like winning in that fashion.
All right.
Congratulations, thank you.
Thank you.
Give that to, I'll get to. I think we have sound now.
Excellent. You want to introduce Dr. Darwin?
I will. I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce our Region 7 Virtual Academy Executive Director, Caitlin Casme. She has been working diligently for all of the school divisions in Region 7 to get the Region 7 Virtual Academy moving forward. And at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to her, let her share an update where we are, and then let you all ask any questions that you might have. So Caitlin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Arbogast, Chairman, member of the board. I appreciate having me today. Dr. Arbogast, I have a quick presentation. I've prepared it for all boards, so I don't know how much your board knows. It's probably about 5 minutes. Do you care if I share that?
You go right ahead.
Good deal. So I've got your all's meeting pulled up. That's what you're looking at now. So we'll jump right in here. I appreciate you having me. I was hired March 16th, so I'm right at 2 months of being in this position, and it's been a whirlwind to get to know everybody, but I'm learning every single day. So we'll jump right in with some of the basics. Let's go this way. Necessity is the mother of invention. That quote has kind of stuck with me as we created this virtual academy because it grew out of necessity. We found ourselves last year, as you all have mentioned in some of your opening comments there, in a very unprecedented school year with loss of enrollment to virtual programs, teachers managing dual instruction, and we really wanted to provide an option that in the future, an infrastructure to be in place where that never happened again. So that's exactly what we did. It's a collaborative effort among multiple school divisions. 17 out of 19 within the region are participating. And what we found was that there was strength in numbers. On our own, our rural division could not sustain what we needed to, but as when you team up with 17 rural divisions, you've got some strength and some power behind you. So that's a connection there that I think is very important. We also will have the infrastructure in place for future options. Right now, we're using it for a school year as a virtual option. But moving forward, maybe we incorporate some STEM, some PBL. There's definitely some summer enrichment opportunities across the region that I think we can definitely explore. And there's a couple other pros to having this academy in place. So as we move on, curriculum and instruction, what we did was each division that participated, so each of the 17 had the opportunity to choose a provider. We went with 2 Virginia-approved MOPS, which is a multi-divisional online provider, as well as Virtual Virginia. This increased our course offerings. Through these providers, we can also offer courses that we maybe wouldn't have been able to staff otherwise. If a kid wants to take Mandarin Chinese, technically with Virtual Virginia, they can do that. So those are some options, as well as we've asked these providers to go with our CIP pacing. That was huge. That was part of that strength in numbers I was discussing, because we have our entire region on that pacing. Getting these providers to agree to do that, it ensures that fluidity in the event they come back to an in-person environment. So partnership with providers, again, that is the flexible by division, so it will vary from school division to school division. Some of the basics. The student will be enrolled with their division of residence. This is a beautiful thing about the academy. Your students remain your students. You receive ADM for your students, and then a portion of those fees go to pay those virtual providers, rather than taking all of our ADM in homeschooling and doing this on their own. It is free for students and families. It's public school. So they, like I said, they are your student. We have an eligibility criteria in place. This was something I was very keen on, because I did not want a student in the virtual environment not participating. That is not what we're doing in this virtual academy. That's unacceptable. So we have those criteria in place. I'm the liaison to contact those families who maybe aren't meeting those expectations, as well as attendance. I will receive weekly and bi-weekly reports from providers, so I can touch base as necessary. We have a website available, r7va.org. It's a work in progress. We are updating it as we go and adding more information. I recently added a frequently asked questions tab, and I've inquired with some of those instructional leaders to get more information on that as well. Innovative opportunities. I alluded to this a little bit, but something I didn't mention was that we are the first regional academy of our kind in the state. So Region 7 is kind of leading the charge on this. We recently received first approval from the Virginia Board of Education, identified as a special program. So we're not exactly a school, because we are not enrolling with the school. Because those students stay with your division, we are considered a special program according to the state. And like I said, we are the first of our kind. So kudos to Region 7 superintendents for getting this rolling. And that also, again, puts the infrastructure in place for additional exploration of innovative opportunities in the future. Last but not least, I am the executive director, as Dr. Arbogast mentioned, and I'm happy to answer any questions that come about. In fact, that's been the bulk of my day, is parent and community questions today. Every day looks a lot different on my end, but I welcome any inquiries that you have. I'm happy to speak to you about any questions you may have. And if you have any questions now, I'm happy to answer them. So that's all I have.
Any questions from?
Yeah, I have one.
Sure.
What is the best way, I know you're new to this, and you may not be able to answer this.
Listen.
I think we have to reach out with this academy, and I think it's a great idea, to our homeschool students, you know, because like you mentioned, there's a few of them that are legit and being taught well and taught exactly what they're supposed to be being taught. But I would say the majority of them are not, you know. What's the best way to publicize this or advertise this or bring it to them? What's their plan to do that, you think? How can we work together doing that?
And Dr. Arbogast, you want me to take that one? I don't know what you have done as a division, but I do know we've created a homeschool letter to send out to families. Hey, this option's available. So any homeschool student in your division will have been notified via that letter. Also, some of those students are probably utilizing one of these providers already. So we definitely need to get those kids back, especially they're paying out of pocket currently for virtual instruction as the homeschool environment. We're gonna cover that cost for them. So maybe just, highlighting those things, and I think it's a definite pro that these students will graduate with a Giles County Public School diploma. So I think, especially for your high school students, that's a big incentive to enroll with us and go this route.
Yeah. We have that letter, and it's gonna go out.
And it may be more than a letter, it may be, that's something that.
Well, that's at least, that's a start, to get it out, to get the information out.
I'm wondering if we would have, just thinking out loud, like an open house or something, so that the
Anything.
in-person probably isn't the most effective way to reach people anymore, unfortunately, but I'm just, and we may even need, and I'll tell you something else that makes me think about an idea. My sister has been homeschooling for a long time, and I'm working on her right now, but they have groups of homeschooling mothers or fathers, and they support each other. So she's got a group of like 20 other mothers that are homeschooling, and they just talk about what works, what doesn't. If you could get one of those groups to like champion the idea of giving this thing a shot, I think they would sell it better than we would amongst their other folks in that same area. So something maybe to try to get the ear of one of those leaders, and we can get them interested, and then we can get a big group interested. But any other questions? I update the board after each of our meetings, so we've just been really pleased that we're gonna have such a strong option and take the weight of this responsibility off of our teachers. And I've been very impressed with you already, and I'm pretty tough on their leaders and expect a lot out of them. So you're already shot out of the gun. So
Well, thank you, I appreciate that. Listen, I joke about this all the time, but I had two parents who instilled a work ethic. They'd have my hide if I didn't. So I think it's just in me, and I don't have much of a say. So, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, so I'll keep updating them, and I'll see you at the next board meeting. And thank you so much for giving us the time, and look forward to continue working with you.
Absolutely, thank you. And again, if anybody has any questions that come up after this is long past, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to answer. You all, thank you.
Caitlin, thank you, and we'll try to do our best to be there at 6:30 on the virtual meeting for the.
I'll hold you to it, Dr. Arbogast. Thank you all, see ya.
See you, thank you.
All right. She's got the right delivery. I mean, she's the right person for that job. So, we did a good job picking her. So can I get a motion to approve the consent items? That include the meeting minutes from the April 1st and 13th work session, and financial data to include bills, payroll, and special education annual plan.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor? All right, this time I will turn the meeting over to Dr. Arbogast for the superintendent's report.
Thanks, sir. At this time, I have a list of personnel items I need to ask the board to confirm. First, I need to ask the board to confirm the following employment. Brianna Underwood, Arizona Elementary Middle School, elementary teacher, 21-22 school year. Cassie Miller, transfer from Macy to Giles High School, history for the 21-22 school year. Katie Whitehead, Macy McClarity, teacher, 21-22 school year. Amanda Presley, Giles High School, history, 21-22 school year. Transfer of Tim Holler from Giles High School to Macy McClarity, middle school teacher for the 21-22 school year.
I'll make a motion that we confirm the employment, positions there.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? I will say it did my heart good to see a Giles High School graduate coming right back to our community. So really nice to see when we can improve hiring somebody coming back. That's Whitehead, that's what I'm talking about, so. All right, all those in favor?
Need to ask the board to confirm the following volunteer agreements. Jamie Welch, Narrows High School Soccer, Lisa Jones, Narrows High School Tennis, Emily Buckland, Narrows High School Soccer, Robbie Pattison, Narrows High School Baseball, Jason McCroskey, Narrows High School Baseball, David Green, Narrows High School Baseball, Casey Lucas, Giles High School Baseball, Brian Daly, Giles High School Assistant Soccer, and Jason Spicer, Narrows High School JV Softball Coach Assistant.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
I'm going to abstain, Amanda.
Need to ask the board to confirm the following resignations. Giles High School, special ed teacher John Miller, effective June 30th. Brooke Knight, Mason McClarity elementary teacher, effective June 4th. Casey Hamley, Mason McClarity early childhood special ed teacher, effective June 4th. Brittany Quigley, Mason McClarity preschool teacher, effective June 30th. And Ben Woodyard, Narrows Elementary Middle School special ed teacher, effective the end of the 2021 school year.
Make a motion that we accept these resignations.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to confirm the following retirements. Kate Dickerson, Giles High School English teacher, effective June 30th, and Gail Pennington, bus driver, effective June 4th. I know we'll have the opportunity to recognize all of our individuals that have retired, but I would like to at least say thank you to all of those who have retired and given their service to Giles County and the students in their respective schools, and taking care of the kids. It is greatly appreciated, their hard work and dedication they've shown to our school system and our students.
I make a motion to accept the retirement.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Ms. Mustange, if you beg him, he probably won't retire. Just.
I know. I know that. Before he left my office, he'd already said, well, I guess I'll sub.
Don't tell him I said that.
Hope he's not watching.
So we taking him off of the motion?
Better not.
Yeah, you better not. I don't think you'll like it.
Still will be.
You can vote no if you want to. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you. At this time, as we do each year, I need to ask the board, and I recommend the board to accept the personnel appointments, again contingent upon receipt of notification of necessary state funding for the 21-22 school year. That's for all personnel. That's teachers, principals, administrators, everybody, staff, teacher assistants, everybody.
Due to personal conflict of interest, I will take no part in the discussion of this agenda.
Understood?
I will not vote.
Understood.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Get them signed up as fast as you can.
We have several, and then you tell me how you want to do this. Bids, I need to ask the proposals, need to ask the board to approve. I can go one by one, or we can do them all as a group there. I think there's 7 of them listed there. I'll at least say what the 7 of them are.
Why don't you present, or at least just mention which 7 we are gonna vote on total, and if we have a discussion,
That's what, okay.
Question about any of them, then we can do that after we make a motion.
I need to ask the board to approve the following bid proposals for the following needs. The first one is 8-2021, that's cleaning grease traps. One bid was received from Vault Septic Cleaning. The second one is 9-2021, that's water treatment services. One bid was received from Water Chemistry. 10-2021, pest management services. We had bids received from Dodson Brothers and Orkin Pest Control. Wrecker services, one bid was received from Lee's Body Shop. 12-2021, school auditing services, one bid received from Robinson Farmer and Cox and Associates. I'm gonna skip that one and do that one separate. Ask the board to approve the following bid for the nurse mannequin and skills trainer for Giles County Tech Center. We had 3 bids, and we would award that to C&E Healthcare. So those 6 bids, I'd like to ask the board to approve at this time.
I move that we approve the 6 bids he discussed and as they appeared in the agenda.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on those 6? All those in favor?
The bid that I did not ask in that group was the bid for the hydraulic in-ground lift at the bus garage. I have not received information on what other proposal they were looking into to possibly do that instead of doing this lift. So I don't feel that it is appropriate at this time to ask you all to approve that.
What I would like to propose, Dr. Arbogast, I did have some discussion with Chris briefly, just to make sure we were moving ahead without overstepping. They still believe that the sharing suggestion that was made is still very much in play, and also feel that now that the number is in the $60,000 range, that's a much better quality product, and that everybody agrees that's probably the way to move forward. So, having said that, he also said he talked to you about that, and that was probably what was the best course of action. However, he does need his board to approve that tonight, and then I think the PSA board needs to get on board. So I think if everybody's okay, we can approve this number from our board contingent upon the Board of Supervisors and PSA agreeing to their 33% involvement based on this low bid number of $60,000, $644.25. So, does the board feel?
I'd go ahead and make the motion if there's any discussion on it, but I'm gonna make the motion that we accept the bid from Lifting Solutions contingent on the Board of Supervisors and the PSA agreeing to split each pick up 1/3 of the cost along with us.
A second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve the new career and tech ed course at the Tech Center. Mr. White presented earlier to us about the Early Childhood Education 1 and Early Childhood Education 2 course at the Tech Center. So at this time, I would ask that the board approve that course as an option to have at the Tech Center.
I'd like to make a motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
was I remember going over this at the retreat, but I would have hoped we could add some more information on it, because I do have concerns about starting a new program. You know, with the data and everything else, you presented there, but again, I just had some questions about it, and this is the first time it's been brought up again, circle back with us as to those details.
How far along are we into this process, Dr. Arbogast, with respect to requesting interest for hiring? And remind me again.
We've not posted the position because our budget has not been officially approved. So once that position is in the budget, because it's assuming another position that we didn't fill.
What amount did we?
It's a teaching position, so it'd be on the salary scale, teaching salary scale. And he went through the process he needed to go through in order to get approval from DOE. We need to get approval from DOE that we could offer it based on the interest and that sort of stuff, and that's what you saw.
Here's my concern with this, and I really want to walk a fine line here, because I know Kevin's worked really hard to put the information together for this position. But we're really, for the first time, I think, have a chance to try to lean in on getting reading specialists and some of these other positions that we've never had a chance to get. And we got the virtual piece we're going to try to be launching and making sure that works. I don't know if we're going to have a problem getting these higher level teaching positions filled without offering a bonus or something to that effect. And we're talking about dedicating $50,000 to a brand new position, and all of those unknowns. I just makes me a little bit nervous about the optics of that.
Is there going to be an additional? We're talking about personnel costs, but what about, childhood development, supplies?
They'll need supplies, and I think he has some funding that he would use to purchase the supplies and equipment that he would need there at the school. They're going to house it there, talking about doing it right there next to Mr. Stump's classroom, where the PACE lab is, and then move the PACE lab over to the where the old health and PE driver's ed classroom used to be for Giles High School in the shop area.
Now, this childhood education consists of what?
It's basically working to try to develop your own teachers.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. And did we, Lisa, did we kind of talk about, like, maybe it might be some opportunity for some to go in, like, and do some observing and maybe some stuff in the schools?
They'd go into the pre-K classrooms, kindergarten classrooms, and do work in there is where they would go.
Because in the past, because I know Andy, she drove to New River to take this. She would leave school and do that, I like the idea of it myself, but.
I'm not against it. I just want to make sure, is this going to fit in with the other academic requirements they'll have to go on? If they do want to go on to four-year teaching or other developments, are they going to be able to get the required classes to do that while blocking a half day on this?
They still will have to have, they'll still have to meet their graduation requirements to go on to a four-year college.
I'm not talking about the four-year college. How's this going to play in, not talking with respect to graduation from here, because I'm certain that we'll meet that, but I just want to make sure that we're not offering a program that somebody's going to be a credit short for being able to get into, if they want to get a Radford for into education, have we checked to make sure that's not going to keep someone short?
I don't know 100% certain to answer that question, but I don't see it putting anybody behind, but
So and clearly, I don't know.
if you have concerns with it, then we table it and we continue to talk about it and we look at doing it for not for the 21-22 school year, we look at doing it for the 22-23 school year, if you have concerns.
Well, here's generally my concern, and Jason hit on it a little bit. I'm clearly a tech center advocate. I've got one that just passed her full certification. She can put her little certification on the wall. Fantastic. Perfect for her, because when she leaves high school, she's gonna be able to start competing against Mrs. Wynn and taking on Dallas County customers. Just kidding. So then, and same with the auto mechanic and welding, and when those programs finish and they've got their certification, they go and start doing their final career. They don't have to go and get another 4 years of school. They can do something to enhance that. But what would be the end certification from this program, and what, if they stop right there, what would they be able, what's the most they'd be able to do with what they would get from that?
I believe if they go through this 2-year program, they would have the ability to start their own daycare at their home, childcare at their home, that type of thing.
Well, like welding, you get your welding certificate, but you still go on to the river.
Yeah.
What, can I ask, what's the interest, I mean, does he have an interest in that? I mean, what's the?
Well, in order to add a CTE program, you have to have interest,
Yeah.
you have to do the interest survey, then you have to apply, well, that's what Dr. Arbogast was talking about. The thing, I had this program at my high school, and what builds from this program is that there's also skill competitions with this, which they do public speaking, they compete nationally, they do a lot of things that build upon a lot of different skills, and it doesn't mean necessarily that you have to be a teacher when you go through this program, but it teaches you how to be a good parent, how to be a good child, how to be a good caregiver, how to be a good parapro if you want to be a teacher assistant, how to be a good babysitter if you're going to be for hire. You can get those certificates, or you can go on to be a teacher. But it teaches you a lot of life skills, just dealing with children and the early development of children. That's what it is for. But there's so many competitions out there in the skills, like the Skills USA, but
USA district, state.
they compete nationally for speaking, they develop lesson plans, they can help with when kids want to enroll with preschool, they could do the entrance, and help with the testing. I mean, that's what I used it for at my school. I mean, so there's just, it can take on all different, things from that program. It doesn't necessarily, and there are some kids that went through it and they competed nationally and they didn't necessarily want to become a teacher, but what they took with them from that is just, child development skills and stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do with it, but like what Mr. Becklin was saying is, you would basically, your certificate would be maybe that you would have a certificate in child development where you would be, maybe Giles County would hire you as a teacher assistant and you have that certificate. But, it's not gonna, as far as knocking out classes at Radford for teaching, I don't know that it does that. If that's what you're asking, like if it takes, like if you, I don't.
Yeah, will it take the place of any? I don't think it'll take the place of any.
No.
Not knocking out the class. What I'm worried about is, are they going, if you take this class, are you going to be able to get the required courses to get you into enroll in Radford University School of Education?
Yeah, it wouldn't prevent you from doing that.
I wouldn't think so.
No, they would have they would have a level of courses that you would take and then you could still enroll. It wouldn't prevent you from doing that.
That's I guess my concern is if we're steering people towards it, I just want to make sure they got enough credit hours in the required courses to be able to get up to their own. I'm not knocking somebody out. Was one concern.
But if you're gonna be if you're gonna be something more than a teacher's aide, then by going and spending half a day at the tech center, are you cutting back the number of credits you can be knocking out if you're gonna go to on a traditional track to being a teacher? because you only got half of it.
That's what they'll find out, that's what they're,
I mean,
that's what they'll,
I mean, if they're there half a day at the tech center, they're gonna be limited in the afternoon as a junior or
Right.
That's what I
as a
was trying to
senior.
articulate.
The other courses that they're gonna take.
For a Giles student than an air student because of the block scheduling.
But I'm trying to make sure we're getting to the end. What we're trying to do is develop our own teachers. It sounds to me like this program really is just developing our own teacher aides. And if that's,
I don't think it's.
I don't think because
That's
I
it.
mean, you're still students in some of the other programs at the tech center are still there half a day, and they still are going on to a 4-year college and have the ability to transition into the 4-year college, and so I don't.
I think any course that we can offer at VOTEC to enhance the future of our students, and I think this is one of them, we better offer it, you know. I think that's what it's there for, not just welding, this, yeah. I think it's there that we could do it. I think this can help.
I think most of these kids, they're going to school, they're going into sophomores anyhow. They got so many credits, they're going into sophomores.
You're out of your brother, right? Yeah.
And, I mean, like I said, Andy went to New River and took it, and she still went and got her education.
Well, yeah.
She just took it, on her own, she drove to New River. and
And
took
there
it.
may be a few other classes we need to offer over there. Yeah, once, you know, we
She
them
would've
in
took
on
it
it,
here.
but
She could have had it here.
But every
She just
time-
took it and
every time we vote to add one, that takes the place of one that we probably can't add for a while. Because we can't just add a program every year and add an additional teacher every year. So if this one goes in, does that mean that's better than culinary, or Jason and I talked about entrepreneurialism? I don't know. We're strapped from a budgeting standpoint. If we vote this one in, I'm not saying it's not a really good program. Is it the right one? Because we need to make sure we're putting the additional ones in, need to hit the mark, because I don't think we can have one every year.
I mean,
You're gonna run out of space at some point in time.
Correct.
So,
yeah, that's my concern. I think I support that tech center is the greatest resource from the education side of things in Giles County. I support it 100%, and that's just my concern. I just want to make sure that we don't have unlimited resources. We make sure that when we're adding a program that it's well thought out, that it's, we've got to, provide opportunities for our students, but we also have to make sure that those opportunities are getting them out into the workforce a leg up from where they would be just as normal entry-level high school graduates.
well, the only question I would have for Mr. White, and I guess that's why it's here, the need for it. Does he feel there's a need for it? And I would guess that's why it's here for us, that he feels that way.
Well, you have to do a survey of, a needs survey, and the kids then are surveyed of what they would like.
Right.
And so, this one must have, placed above some of those others, that there were more kids, because the state, before you can add a program,
only approved.
you have to prove that your kids, that your students at your school are going to have an interest in this, and then there are going to be jobs for them after. That's part of the process with the Perkins grants and things like that, is a needs assessment and an interest inventory of students. Like if they would have said, like they said culinary, if culinary would have finished up here and this down here, then there wouldn't have been a basis to add it at this time, is what. It's also, that's just my experience. I don't know of how they've added programs before, is that they had to do an interest survey and kids said, this is what I would like. They may have 3 choices, this, I don't know, I don't know what the other choices were, what the survey looked like, but that's part of the process.
I think if we're gonna have to have another meeting, the budget still has to be knocked out. So if we have another work session that we'll schedule at the end of this meeting, would White be willing to come and
I'll speak.
ask him a few more questions?
I'll speak to Mr. White and make sure he's available whenever we have our next meeting to
And
discuss it further.
unfortunately, we've already made a motion and a second at this point. So I don't know how to best handle that.
If Mark can withdraw it, and then somebody can make a motion to table it.
I ain't withdrawing nothing. No, I'll withdraw. I'll withdraw in a second.
So Mark's gonna withdraw the motion.
But he needs to be prepared with the questions that we're asking, so he needs to know what we're kind of looking for.
That's kind of my concern. That was a small part of a very long day when that was presented, and I just wanna double check and make sure that this is 100% what we think we need to do.
And please make sure he understands we're not questioning his ability or energy. No, we need.
I don't think.
Bringing these to the plate, that's great. We just.
I don't think he'll take it that way. He'll take it that you have questions and want to get them answered before.
Can we get a motion that we table the.
If we table this, Dr. Argas, does that push it back a year?
I don't think you need.
No, what it does, I mean, it does not push it back a year. It'll push it back to the next meeting that we have. We'll have to make sure that we schedule a meeting in such a way that you all can vote.
Right.
So if we schedule the next meeting as a instead of a work session, as a board meeting, you're gonna have to vote on the budget. So if he's here, you could vote on it then, and then we would post it, and then what it's gonna do is it's gonna put us back a couple of weeks of hiring somebody, but that's the bottom line.
So I'm making a motion that we table the consideration of approval of the new CTE course.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Motion second, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board at this time to approve the following authorizations. Need to ask the board to approve authorizing the following for the 21-22 school year. One, that the chairman and the superintendent can accept RFPs and offer employment between school board meetings if necessary. And two, if I am out of the office or unavailable, that I would recommend that Lisa Mustang be able to sign documents in my absence effective July 1st, 2021.
Make good motion.
I'll second that.
Motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
As we discussed at the last work session, regarding any sort of projects that we would be talking about for Mason, McClarity, Giles High School, and Nares High School, if we're interested in pursuing the possibility of applying for the literary BPSA loans, we would need to have the board approve a resolution. That was a draft of it was presented to you at the work session, so at this point in time, I would ask that you approve that so then we can begin working on.
Should we, just to cover everything, should we add Eastern to that too, in case, I mean, this is gonna be a decade before we get it anyway. And maybe just improvements to all schools, just in case there's something that comes up.
Right.
It's gonna be 10 years down the road.
Yeah, we can add Eastern to it and get a cost from the information that CRA shared with us before.
Okay.
And just amend that and then get y'all to sign it.
Yeah, do we have to say specifically maximum cost expected, Dr. Arbogas?
I believe what Christie was sharing with her, that we have to have a cost included in the resolution.
Okay.
But will verify that as well.
I mean, and how detailed are they if we decided that we weren't gonna do work on one and we shifted that number to higher costs for the others? Are they that specific that we couldn't move them around a little bit?
I think you're basically applying for that particular school to get that school on the list. So there'll be 4 different items on the list, so.
Got it. We do have some flexibility if the numbers for those schools on the list were cheaper or more expensive, as long as we didn't exceed our total number.
I think once we get on the list for the dollar amount that we requested for that school, that's what we're on the list for.
So Macy's 4.481.
If it's 6 million, we're on there for 4.481, I believe, unless we reapply for it. But again, those are questions I'd have to ask because we've not done this very often enough for me to be able to answer that for certain.
Okay.
I think we asked for anything that we think we're gonna have in the next 2 decades.
That's what I'm thinking.
And for the maximum amount that we think it's gonna be, because, you know, Americans may have it, the state may put money in it, but.
We should pull all the numbers from everything they recommended we do at each facility. Just put those in there and we'll just have to make sure the counties, this is why we're doing that.
Or
So they
anybody,
don't have a heart attack.
or anybody that pulls this resolution off and we do it, that we certainly hope that the expenditures don't cost that much in reality, but
So can somebody craft a resolution, a motion that captures that discussion?
I move that we approve the resolution, an amended resolution, that includes all maximum costs of all anticipated capital projects for the next, for all buildings for the next 2 decades.
I like that.
We don't know the
Strong.
figure.
And a motion and a second?
That's it.
Any further discussion?
Just so people understand, we're not committing to borrowing a ton of public money right now. There is a literary fund that, the last time this county applied for the fund, it was 9 years later that we got the funding for it. So we need to provide a maximum amount. We definitely do not intend, at least this board member does not intend to agree to borrow that maximum amount. But we want to make sure that we're in line to get as much money as we need at a very low interest rate and under favorable terms.
Agreed. Any further discussion? All those in favor? The next one I'll take over from Dr. Arbogast. Need the board to consider a resolution from VSBA, recognition of 133 Virginia Public School Division superintendents as superintendents of the year for 2020-21. Whereas in order to ensure the health and safety of all Virginians, schools across the Commonwealth closed on March 13, 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic, and most have provided virtual instruction since then, as in-person teaching and learning evolved, and whereas individual school divisions retain the authority, autonomy to decide whether or not new instruction would continue and the format in which the instruction would be presented, and whereas stable and consistent leadership of local school division superintendents has been vital in serving children through this pandemic, and whereas school division superintendents are responsible for the health, safety, welfare, and education of each child while creating school cultures, even within a pandemic, that serve all children regardless of their circumstances, and whereas public school division superintendents utilize guidance from the Centers for Disease Control, Virginia Department of Health, Virginia Department of Education, local health departments, and local case data in fulfilling leadership responsibilities in their communities like no other time in their careers. And whereas local school division superintendents work collaboratively with their school boards, educators, parents, and community stakeholders in providing technology, resources, curriculum content, emotional support, and meals to children during the pandemic. And whereas traditionally, VASS, which is Virginia Association of School Superintendents of the Year, have been selected via a diverse panel of education association that are reviewing an individual superintendent's ability to demonstrate leadership for learning, communication, professionalism, and community involvement. And whereas all 33 Virginia Public School Division superintendents have extraordinarily exhibited these qualities while leading their school divisions and communities during the 2021 school year. And whereas the VASS Board of Directors agreed on January 7th, 2020 to suspend the traditional selection process of determining a single superintendent of the year and unanimously agreed to recognize and honor all Virginia Public School Division superintendents as superintendents of the year for 2021. And whereas VASS is appreciative of the Virginia School Boards Association supporting this resolution and the honor provided to each division superintendent by having his or her respective school board present this resolution to the superintendent to be recognized within the community for which he or she serves and leads. Now, therefore be it resolved, the Giles County School Board does hereby recognize Dr. Terry E. Arbogast II as a Virginia Superintendent of the Year for 2021 as designated by the Virginia Association of School Superintendents. Adopted this 20th day of May 2021 by Giles County School.
You get to apply.
Thank you. That's okay.
So,
That's okay.
Can I have a motion to approve this resolution?
I will move that we approve that resolution.
I'll second.
A motion and a second.
I'll let you read it again.
Any further discussion? I would like to say that I've been very pleased with the way that you've operated through this, Dr. Arbogast, and Ms. Mustaine and everybody else that supported you. And let's hope that we never have to do that again.
I wholeheartely agree with you. I hope not as well.
So,
Thank you.
that being said,
Thank y'all very much. I mean, we've got great people that here in Giles County to work with. That's the bottom line.
any further discussion? All those in favor?
Thank y'all.
You got more
I
on
do.
your list, Dr. Arbogast?
I do have a long list, yes, sir.
Keep hammering.
All right, enrollment, as of today, our enrollment was 2,229. That's an increase of 1 from the end of April. So it's kind of holding right there around 2228, 2229 here the last couple months. Keep in mind that we still currently have about 500, we have about 500 virtual students full-time, and we'll finish out the year that way. Again, wanted to congratulate our schools Teachers of the Year, Crystal Bogus, Nares High School, Jane Lowe, Eastern Elementary Middle, Lauren Merrick, Nares Elementary, Katie Wright, Giles High School, and Robbie Spiegel, Mason McClarty. And I want to congratulate Crystal Bogus for being recognized as the Giles County Public Schools Teacher of the Year, and wish her luck as she moves on through the process at the state level. So good luck to her. That's done. Want to congratulate a student from the Giles Tech Center. They participated in the Virginia Skills USA competition virtually this year, a couple weeks ago, and they had several students that were recognized and received honors. Natalie Dickerson, bronze in t-shirt design, Ben Hart, gold for internetworking, Ashton Hetherington, gold for welding, Josh Keller, silver for information technology services, Spencer Mitkiff, silver for automotive service technology, Aiden Morgan, gold for precision machine technology, Zach Ratcliffe, silver for architectural drafting, Colton Snidow, silver for technical drafting, and Hannah Steele, silver for cosmetology. So congratulations to those students for those honors. And Ben Hart and Ashton Hetherington have the opportunity to compete at the national level in June, so good luck to them. Laying at your seat prior to the start of the meeting, you had a what is listed as a draft LEA plan for safe return to in-person instruction and continuity of services. As you know, we're going to receive the third round of CARES ESSER funds, and we have to submit an application for that. That application is due September 1st, by September 1st. As part of that, the LEA, Local Education Association, we have to have 2 plans. That's one of them that has to be posted on our website. Needs to have, we need to have provide the ability for community, any comments to be added as well or shared to make any amendments to that plan. So I provide that to you so you have the ability to review it. My plan, if you are comfortable with it, it has to be posted officially by June 1st. So we will post it seeking as a draft on our website. Seek any comments that anybody has, make any adjustments to it, and then post it officially June 1st. Basically what this said, what's included in here is basically what we've done to operate safely this school year.
This doesn't have anything to do with what we're gonna do in August of this year.
Well, we're gonna move to 5 days a week in August, 5 days a week in August, and depending on what the requirements are for inside the school buildings, that would be the only thing that may be added, would have to be added, because you have to review this every 6 months, and then start it through September 30th of 2023, and then make those updates. So we would have to, again, see what's in place, regulations are in place at the time that we review it and make those necessary adjustments. If it's similar to what's going to become effective May 28th, it looks like inside, again, right now, inside on public school grounds, you still are supposed to be wearing face masks, coverage. Outside, you don't have to, as long as you're fully vaccinated.
Just from an optics standpoint, the title, to me, when I first saw this, it said plan for safe return. And then I read down through here where it says we're going hybrid. So, I don't know how we make sure that, maybe the title is history of, I don't know what I'm trying to say, it's something.
That title is pulled off of the information that was given to us. So this was a draft that they gave us, and it was just what you see in red, or I don't know that it should be in color, but what you see there in red is what we added.
When people take time to read it, it says we did this.
Yes.
We began this. It included XYZ, but we don't say anything. Is there a way we can add to this?
I guess I see what you're saying. So somewhere in that we could say moving
Caption over the whole letter.
moving into the 21-22 school year, Giles County Public Schools plans on opening 5 days a week for in-person instruction.
Perfect. Something that's in there somewhere.
Yeah, kind of just stylistically having a break between, okay, this is, I understand we have to have the historical data in there, but something that shows a break that says, okay, this is what we're doing now.
Right. Maybe that in bold, because
that's what.
That's all the only was scanning for. I mean, I'm not saying that people, if I was a parent and I wasn't on the school board, I'd read through here and try to find the hot words. Hybrid. Yeah, and I'd see hybrid, I'd say, are you kidding me? They're going hybrid again? So if we can put in there somewhere and highlight that our intentions are back to school normal. And people, nobody may read this, but it only takes one that's very well plugged in to get people worked up, so.
I'll put it in there to a couple different places, because it looks like there's a couple different places, but basically what it will say is moving into the 21-22 school year, Giles County Public Schools will operate on a 5 day per week in-person instructional model, in parentheses, back to our normal schedule.
Very good. That's all I got. Any other board members got suggestions from your perspective? Voters would reach out to you.
So this will be, we'll post a draft, and we get any feedback, we'll let you know. The second one I did not give you a copy of because it has not been completed. It will be worked on, and before we have to put it out there, it has to be out there by August 1st. It is titled the LEA ARP ESSER Plan. That's the Local Education American Rescue Plan, ESSER Plan, that talks about how we're going to utilize the funding and how it's going to be split out, the total amount of funding we're going to get, and that sort of stuff. So we'll work on that, and we'll get that draft to you so you can see it posted online, just like I said we do for the other one, receive comments and then post it. Unless there's another way that you all would like to see it done. I thought that would be the easiest thing.
We could even add that to a work session.
Could add to a work session.
If you think you'll have a draft ready by the time we have that.
I don't know that we'll have it by the first work session, but we may later on in the month of June.
All right.
Kind of going down the list of other items, just to congratulate Nares High School, and I probably may take this away from some of you, but if I do, I apologize. Congratulations to the theater program at Nares High School. They were state runner-up in the theater competition here recently, so congratulations to them for their program. Girls tennis at Nares High School captured the regular season championship and the tournament championship, and the boys tennis won in the quarterfinals, so good luck to them as they proceed. Madison, I apologize if I took any of that away from you as well.
She sat through all this just to do that, Dr. Armstrong.
I got some stuff to say.
Well, I hope that, again, I want to congratulate the Giles High School Lady Spartan volleyball team for their state championship. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to the young ladies that were recognized as all district first team and second team honors. I have those here and then can recognize them as well. Hannah Steele, first team all district and Three River District Player of the Year. Elisa Pennington, first team all district. Emma Clater, first team all district. Jillian Mitkiff, first team all district, and Haley Howe, second team all district. And then region, Hannah Steele was Emma Clater, Elisa Pennington, and Julian Mitkiff were first team all region, and Haley Howe was second team all region. So congratulations to those young ladies for their recognitions. About 2 weeks ago, I think you all received an email from a gentleman by the name of Dave Cicerelli. It was regarding solar panel renewable energy. John Ross and myself took the opportunity to speak to him last week, last Thursday. And again, it was about solar renewable energy, and what they offer is a PPA, a power purchase agreement, or a PSA, which is a power service agreement. What I told him I would do is, you saw the email he presented, the information he presented. I told him I would check with you all to see if you were interested in hearing further information from him. If so, I would schedule an opportunity for him to come speak to you.
I think we need to listen. I think there's some other, that performance contracting stuff too, that John Ross has been talking about. I think we've got a opportunity, I think, with these things and what we've got CRA looking at with respect to these facilities, that I think, we need to really work hard to get some decisions made by September of really what things to go forward, because I think some of those things come together, changes maybe the dynamic of cost savings or energy savings.
I'll touch back out with him tomorrow and see if there's an opportunity that we can get him here to speak with you all.
He mentioned in his email that he offered to provide a cost savings estimate for one or more of the buildings. And he says he needs on your electric bills, brief discussion about roof mount and ground mount options. Can we get him enough that he would have the ability to present something to us a little more?
I forwarded CRA power and gas bills here this week, based on what they requested for their evaluation. I'll take that and I'll forward that to him to see if that suffices. If it does, if he needs additional stuff, I'll see, but see if that will work for him to present that information to us.
Just on the raw electric bill information, I'd be interested to see what he can do. I know that he's gonna take into account, he says here, roof mount versus ground mount. Do you have property available? Is it in the wetlands and floodplain and roof age? We can probably talk about that later. If he can show us some kind of a return on investment that looks attractive, then I think Jason's right, we've got to get CRA thinking about the roof design we're gonna move ahead with better.
They can pay for the roof, I think. I think this, we'll have a real quick ROI with this net metering really changed the.
Yeah.
If not, it's just in a couple buildings, like, right off the bat.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the consensus is yes.
I'll get the information to him, see if we can get that time to have him come speak to us.
Okay.
Other information just need to share with the board as I'm going down my list. We have a request, and I'm just making you aware and to see if, to make sure that there's no issues. We have a request. DEQ is working on scheduling a meeting in the area sometime over the summer. And they contacted Ms. Mustaine, actually somebody from the pipeline contacted Ms. Mustaine as their liaison and would like to utilize an auditorium within the school system to be able to have that meeting, because the pipeline is going to be an item on their agenda.
Is it a public hearing?
It's an EP.
It's an EP,
What was the letters?
EPA. Yeah.
It's their meeting.
It's a DEQ meeting that they're gonna have, the pipeline as an item on the agenda to discuss. So they would, I mean, again, they would have to go through the process of facility use form, provide the security, the insurance certificate and that sort of stuff, but I wanted to make sure you all didn't have any issues if we said they could hold the meeting at Giles High School.
My only thought is we just need to make sure we clearly are not in favor of or against anything related to the pipeline. I mean, we're just providing a facility.
It's not even for the pipeline, it's for the state agency.
Okay.
State agency holding a meeting and as an agenda item. Don't know what that agenda item looks like. I don't know what the rest of their agenda looks like, but as an agenda, one of their agenda items, the pipeline would be an item for discussion is what we were told.
About crossing streams.
Crossing streams.
I think what it is we're providing probably the only venue that will be large enough in the county to allow people to come voice their concerns, whatever that is, to DEQ.
Yeah, whatever that is.
I think we should do that anytime we can for our buildings.
Yeah, so as long, I didn't want to say, yes, go ahead, and then you all hear about it and have an issue.
That was
So
good.
I want to make sure, but so we're gonna tell them to go ahead, contact Giles High School, go through the process of filling out all the paperwork that's necessary, and then we'll bring it back.
Between July 15th and August 15th.
Between July 15th and August 15th.
Okay.
Just as bringing that up, I think, that's one thing the community's lost of this last year, a lot of some of the events. A couple people have talked about those things. I think especially with the CDC backing off this idea that you touch it and you're going to get it, we ought to be more receptive to, just my opinion, we should be more receptive to community use of our buildings like we have been in the past.
Well, that's what I wanted to make sure. As I said, I thought we would be okay, but I wanted to make sure. Any need to review I don't think there is any of the new executive order that's coming on May 28th. Any comment, questions, or information that we need to talk about there? Lift at the garage we talked about.
Maybe one, not in the details, but I know we've opened up everything for normal graduation. Have we had any discussion about the tech center?
Tech Center, he worked on a letter, and he was gonna send that letter out. I'm not sure whether he's gonna send it out, probably send it out tomorrow, I guess,
It
but
was on Facebook today.
then he posted it, because I sent it back to him this morning. I sent it back to him this morning, and said what he shared looked good. They're gonna move back to doing one ceremony.
Awesome.
I think it's at 7 o'clock on the same date, June 1st.
Thank you. Tell my people they missed one.
Gym floors at the schools. We put out a request for proposal for the gym floors at the schools. We did not receive any proposals back except for one, and that one would only do the resealing, would not do taking it all the way down to the bare wood. So.
We're planning to reach out to a few folks and tell them that it's out. They're just, unfortunately, they're so busy.
I'm gonna say, the timing of it probably was not good. So I don't know that we're gonna get any more responses than what we got. Because we sent it out to, I think, 8 or 5, 6, 7, 8. I sent out to 9 entities.
So I guess from a procurement standpoint, do we have to accept the one? No, we can reserve the right to reject all.
We don't have to accept this.
Can we reach out to some of those and find out if they were super busy when it came out, if they're not interested in that kind of work? If we re-advertise, will we get some more interest? I just can't, that's concerning.
I mean, we're here at the end of May. I don't think we're gonna get anybody that's gonna be able to do it over the summertime right now, at this point in time. And we only had just, I don't have it from last year, or the one we did it last year.
I think we need to try one more time. If we can get it right back out, we have to advertise for
What'd we do?
15 days?
Do something like that, 10, 15 days.
reach out to a few of them and say, look, what's the problem? And does everybody agree to? And I don't wanna go here in the community with these gym floors look terrible. It's like, well, we tried once, nobody was interested, we were done. Contracting community felt is it a supply problem? Is it too much work? Materials?
It's too much work, I'd say.
Everybody's just covered up.
Yeah, I would say what I do know is the one that's local didn't, because they don't have the ability right now to do it. They don't have the time.
Can you reach out to a few of those on our list and see what their situation is, Dr. Arbogast?
We'll start making that contact tomorrow.
I mean, if we can document that everybody we think is capable of doing it says they're too busy and there's no way, I don't know what else as a board we can do.
Yeah, we'll start reaching out tomorrow to see.
Okay.
That
Unless
list.
Phil wants to do it.
I'm gonna say, we could go rent some sand or some wood or something.
About that's Peter grass.
Yeah, let's make sure that gets on the agenda for a vote, Dr. Arbogast, before we move ahead with Phil finds
Buy tickets for that.
Which one of these do I want to tackle first? I'd like to ask the board, to approve our, I don't know that you have to approve, but I'd like for you to at least consensus that you're comfortable with us doing it, our summer work schedule for all of our offices. I would propose that our summer work schedule would be 7:30 to 4:30 Monday through Thursday, and offices would be closed on Friday.
Well, I'd like to say something. I think as much as they've been through this year, if that's what they want, have you talked to principal? I'm sure you have, that's probably what they want. If that's what they want, they should, you know, the buildings are being open, you know, those 4 days, they're getting their hours in, right?
They'd be getting into the 90%
And for what they've been
of
through this
their hours.
year, I think they should be afforded that. I have no problem with it, I think they would be, as long as they get
I mean,
their.
we did that last year, and if they,
We did it- we
it's
did-
somebody they came.
Did they have any problem?
We did it last year to make, I mean, with COVID was part of the reason we did it last year. This year,
We didn't have
we're
any,
going 7:30 to 4:30. That's, I mean, you're 9 hours a day.
did they receive any
and-
problems, any concerns, any?
We'll make sure that, I mean, everybody will get things done that they need to get done. And that's they're gonna be open the same time that we have our summer programs, Monday through Thursday. And that,
Summer school is Monday through Thursday.
summer programs, Monday through Thursday at all facilities. So,
Summer feedings Wednesday.
summer feedings on Wednesday. So that's just, I wanted to make sure you were comfortable with that before we told them to go ahead and that's what we would be doing.
The only comment I would make on that is, one, we need to make sure the public understands that the hours that they're being paid for, we're still meeting those. Because that'll be the question, I sure wish I had a 4-day work schedule. Well, it's 7:30 to 4:30, and that still gets the hours that they're contracted for. And we just make sure everybody understands that optics are very important. So if it's 7:30 to 4:30, and somebody sees you in Walmart every day at 3:30, then that's tough. And people find something to pick at. So let's have people in the parking lot at 7:30. Let's make sure they're pulling out at 4:30. Not 4:10, not 3:50, just, that's.
The problem with that is that a lot of people have vacation days that they use in the summer.
And you know what, they don't need to answer the public for that. If it's a vacation day, it is. Just generally, if we do what we're supposed to do, and people see that, then they don't find a reason to start.
Well, I will say, just to make sure that, because I think that's what both of you are alluding to. If you look at an 8-hour day, 40 hours a week, if you do 9 hours in 4 days, you're not meeting the 40 hours. So if you're telling me that you want us to meet the 40 hours, we're gonna have to extend that time.
What is their contract required? Or is that, I mean, if
They're not
somebody
paid,
pushes-
they're not paid on an hourly basis.
But is the contract mentioned a 40-hour work week anywhere?
That I don't know. I don't think it does, but I could be wrong.
I'm just asking the questions that
I don't
I know
think it
somebody's gonna ask me.
I don't think it does, but we can, if that's the case, then we can make it 7 to 5.
If nobody else has that concern, I'm just one person trying to think about what,
Well, and I think you look at some of the county offices, treasurer's office they do different schedules. I mean, honestly, you know, it does having 7:30 and 4:30, you know, instead of having 8:30, it does give opportunity for more people that need to have business in the school when that work conflicts. You're keeping it open longer, less days, but you're keeping it open longer, which in my mind does, you know, provide some flexibility for parents or anybody else that has business in there in the summer.
has it been, what were the hours before we did that?
Our normal hours during the summer have been 8 to 4 is what they go.
8 to 4 or 5 days a week?
And that includes, I think that includes their lunch.
There's a lot of, I don't know, a lot of those surrounding school systems do it like the 4 days a week.
There's several divisions around us that are 4 days a week that do the altered schedule.
Same time frame, 7:30 to 4:30.
Yes,
And I know with their, especially with their administrators,
and that what you have.
the hours they put in, and the public, I don't care what the public thinks. It's their people, they work hard, and, I said, you know, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and if they're that concerned, you know, they need to work up their own work schedule.
That's for this office too, right, Dr. Alvarez?
Yes, sir, it would be central office and all the offices of the schools, 7:30 to 4:30, Monday through Thursday.
I don't have a problem with it.
Or do it.
I feel like if we need one of you two or anybody, we can pretty much find you if somebody calls.
We'll understand.
Well, that's the thing, like even if Amanda's not working on Fridays, people will contact
Yeah, we
Amanda on
still-
Fridays or me. And the other thing is that people are going to lose vacation days just for the simple fact there's not enough days in the year to take them because we have to be here just because of all the things we, you know, like I could theoretically be off the whole month of June, but I'm not going to do that because summer school's going on. So you just give back 20 days or whatever it is. And so, and there are people that if they have a doctor's appointment and they want to leave at 4, they'll leave at 4, not 4:30, just for the simple fact that they have that vacation day that they didn't get anyway. So that's sort of, you know, how it works. Or everybody will take their vacation day and nobody will be here in June because everybody has vacation.
We can make it work.
I mean, it worked last summer and we were under a pandemic last summer. I think it'll work.
As long as everything's getting done, let's make it.
Did we have somebody that was available on Fridays if somebody had questions or anything? Did we do that last year?
We all were. In the email, he said that we all needed to be available for questions.
What does our automated call answering say? If somebody calls on a Friday and they call the main number does it tell them how they can get in touch with somebody if they needed to?
No, it doesn't now,
It
no.
just says summer
It just
hours,
says-
it would say summer
It would
hours.
say summer hours are Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 4:30.
And they'll be posted at the school property.
It'll be posted at each school, be posted here, be posted online on our website. And if it was an emergency, somebody would be able to get a hold of us. Otherwise, they could leave a message and they'd contact them back on Monday.
What's everybody think?
I have no problem with it as long as somebody can be contacted, you know, if somebody needs something on Friday that's emergency, that they can get a hold of. Cause I did have a complaint about that last year.
Yeah, I did too, so I'm just trying to wonder if we get some way for somebody to get a hold of.
Well, I can change my answering machine, like my answering service and tell them that they can email me. And that because I check my email every day, and I don't want to get behind on it, so if they want to get my extension, they'll say, you know, I'm out of the office, please contact me by email, and I can put my email address on there and they can email me.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
I mean, I'm not gonna give out my cell phone number, but everybody has it anyway.
I mean, I think
We've already posted that.
So email addresses can be added easily to me if need be.
if we, just, the message should say summer hours are Monday through Thursday, if you'd like to reach someone by email, I don't know how that answering service works.
I mean, I would say, if you say, if that's what you want, we just say, the summer hours are gonna be Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 4:30. If you need to reach an administrator, please visit the website and send an email to them and they will be in contact with you.
Okay.
And it just, you know, this kind of thing, just making sure somebody that's in town is kind of checking that stuff through the day, just, that would be my concern, as long as the work's getting done and, you know, people, if they got, you know, because people do have emergencies that happen on Friday, but, I mean, I think I think all of our administrators work a lot more than their Monday through Friday hours.
If you give an opportunity to be able to reach somebody in a certain way, then that doesn't cause frustration because they just get it, we're closed today. And then most of the time they'll be like, I'm not gonna send an email, I'll call them Monday. But you gave them the opportunity, and then we're not unreachable.
You could change,
And I think
the message on there starting
I think,
June
I
7th.
mean, I'm sure you could probably, I don't know how to do it yet, but I could probably call in and check my voicemail from home. I just never have done it because Katrina's always so fast. She shouldn't give me a chance.
Well, let's just play it by ear. If you start getting a bunch of emails that aren't getting responded to in a timely manner, and that becomes a problem, then we can adjust something.
We'll
Giving the people a way to reach administrator on a Friday.
We'll change the message, starting Monday, June 7th. That's on our phone system. So if they get it, it'll say office hours, summer office hours are Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 4:30. If you need to reach somebody on Fridays, please visit the school's website and send an email to the appropriate individual.
I'll go to that.
Just call me.
Put George and Miss Mustang's number out on it.
We can handle it.
They'll Facebook
You got that?
And if you don't get that, their address is, just go knock on the front door.
Okay.
Then you probably won't find me at Walmart.
Want to take the opportunity to thank the Giles Early Education Program. They made a donation to the school system. They donated Smiles of Giles, a county alphabet book. We took those around last week, I think it was. They donated one for every kindergarten student within our school. So I want to thank the Jeep organization for their continued support of our school system. It's greatly appreciated. So I wanted to thank them for that. Football field update, just so you know, we're still on the schedule, from what I've been told. They're gonna come June 5th, 6th, I think that's Sunday, and start spraying to take care of, the Giles High School, at least is what I was told yesterday. So I've been trying to talk to individuals. I did talk to Greg Caldwell, got some names to talk to. I've been trying to get a hold of a gentleman with a turf and tractor company. We've been playing phone tag for the last week. I also talked to Emerson Pulliam from over at Virginia Tech. He said he would be willing to assist us in any way that he could. Once we get some more information on what type of tractor, lawnmower, and that sort of stuff we'll be able to move forward. We also we were out looking at the track yesterday. I'll update you on that as well. But I asked a representative from ZMM to see if there was an individual that could come over and look at the field to see what the issue was, why it's so wet. Because it doesn't make sense to spend the money on this if we can't figure out why it's staying wet. So.
Is it still wet right now?
It's still damp.
We got a problem.
So I know they had a water leak up on the hill, looking at the home side, up to the right of the standard, you can see a spot where they had to work on it above the stone wall. But still, you walk on the grass and then you walk onto the track, you got feet, your prints are there from walking on the grass in the field. So some reason, I don't know what the reason is why it's holding water.
The grass that's on that field holds water. So.
Not right there. on that spot.
If we kill it off and
Yep.
it's still wet, then we're gonna have to be very sure to fix that problem before the spring.
They're going, then, yeah, so that's gonna be,
As dry as it's been, it should be wet.
that's what I
That stuff, so.
That's true, that's true.
wouldn't have thought, even though with the rain we had Tuesday, it wouldn't have been that, I wouldn't have thought.
We
So-
did about a quarter inch.
So that, there's something that's, Bill Shelton with ZMM, I asked him, he's gonna look at, see who we can talk to and get that back to me. If I don't hear from him by Monday, I'll reach back out to him and see, because we need to make sure we get that looked at.
Okay.
And once I get some quotes on,
Team would be pumped.
once I get some quotes on the tractor, the reel mowers, I'll let you know that as well. The one company, the one turf and tractor deals with John Deere, the other is a turf and irrigation that deals with Toro, so I'll have some items to share with you. We mentioned the budget and contracts. Our hope is, I know the county board of supervisors is doing a public hearing this evening on the budget. Assuming that nothing changes from that, it would be my hope, our hope, that we would be able to begin working on contracts and get contracts out next week. Track and tennis court at Giles High School, as I shared with you, the track, we went out there, met with Adam Johnson, and Bill Shelton, walked the track, looked at it again, had the paver there with us as well, to again look at and talk about in front of the home side about what can be done. They're talking about putting in a drain that will probably start in the middle of the home side and flow both directions. He's talking about cutting it, putting it in there. But I don't have an updated quote and cost to tell you what that's gonna be. As soon as I get that, I told them, once I know that, I can share that with you all and get an idea of what we need to do, what the process is gonna be and how we're gonna proceed. In regards to the tennis courts, as I shared with you, when I was out there originally, several weeks ago, it was voiced that there were a couple of spots in a couple of those tennis courts that needed to be addressed. There's a hump in one of them. There's several cracks throughout the tennis courts that need to be addressed. I asked Adam with ATC to look at that and provide a quote back to me to tell us what it would be the cost just to repair those areas. And he provided me a cost of what it would be to repair those areas and to put a resurface on that. To repair those areas, he would grind out the humps, the heave cracks, he'd fill the cracks, crack repair, leveling compound, and then they would apply the color coat in only those areas that were repaired. Put the lines, put the lines, and they would give us some nets. We need to talk to them about that. I don't know that we'll need the nets, but we'll need to talk to them about that. That cost would be, that proposal was $18,217.50. To repair those spots and put a full resurface, again, that's to grind out the humps, heave cracks. They would hot water pressure wash the whole surface, crack fill it, crack repair, put a leveling compound, put a resurfacer acrylic of one coat of application. They would color coat application, 3 coats of it, the whole thing. Put the playing lines back on there. Again, we need to talk about the tennis nets and that sort of stuff. I don't think we'll need those. I think that they were getting those taken care of through a young lady that was doing an Eagle Scout or another project. and they would not need to remove and replace the posts because those posts are there. They are gonna provide me an updated quote on this because the posts are solid. They would just take the post, grind it off the rust, repaint it, so the post, and leave the post there. But the quote that I've received was $41,937 to do all that work. I anticipate that it's gonna be maybe a little bit higher, because there is an issue that we asked them to look at. You've got, if you, on the tennis courts, you've got a set of 2 courts here and a set of 2 courts here, and you have that fence that runs in between them. If you look down the court, the whole length of that middle, that fence that runs between them, there's a crack that runs the whole way underneath that fence.
And that's off the playing surface.
That's off the playing surface, so we would not have, we would not have to have that addressed, but we asked him to price what it would be to address it, just to give us an idea. But the ones on the playing surfaces that run parallel with the courts, they would address those.
Probably needs to be a work session. You need an answer right now on that?
I don't need an answer right now, no. I would assume it makes, I mean, to me, if we're gonna do something and instead of having tennis courts that look like a patchwork quilt, it would make sense to do the $41,000 one. Because otherwise it's gonna look spot here, spot there, that's fixed.
Is there any, you'll get any discount with it? This is the same company that's doing the track, right?
This is the same company that's doing the track, but they're not asphalting the tennis courts.
I know, but if they're gonna have a crew there, we ought to be getting some sort of break.
Yeah.
I mean, they need to be done together and see if we do it as a package deal, we can save $10,000.
Absolutely.
$5,000, whatever it is.
I do know that Bill, I asked him to look at these, and he said these are comparable prices to what they've seen on stuff that they've got.
Okay. Well, we've got a lot of budget stuff we probably need to finalize in the work session. Hopefully, we'll have the list of where all the dollars are going, CARES Act, first round, second round, carryover.
And I'll have the updated quotes by then, I would think.
Okay, so we okay, let's look at that holistically. We've been spending the carryover a lot, so let's make sure we get our list finalized, we know what money is going where, and we're good to go. I don't know that this meeting needs to be modeled with that.
Yeah, but please see if we can get some sort of, if we do that as a package deal, if there's some savings.
Absolutely. Even he's probably got mobilization in that as a standalone project, Dr. Alvarez, so.
Not that I see. It's, I read everything to you. Grind out the humps, the crack filling, the crack repair, leveling, color coat, just those areas.
He's got it buried in.
It's probably buried in the other,
Yeah, so.
but it's not part of those line items. I'll ask about about a better price if it's done along with the track. So,
Thanks, Lee. It's those. I thought it was in there, but I think we missed.
yeah, I must have. I went over those. So remind me, I'll do those here in a moment. All right. Provided you a copy of the Small Rural School Summit that is scheduled for Thursday, June 10th. I know you had questions, and I will ask those questions to see whether, if we say we want to have a team of 6, do that team of 6 have to be in one site, or can they be 6 separate sites? I'll find that out and I'll let you know for sure as soon as I ask that question. All right.
I do want to attend, sounds fun.
I'll make sure that you're on the registration list. Couple other items to ask the board to approve. I need to ask the board to approve the following athletic contracts: Bradley McLaughlin, Narrows High School Assistant Varsity Baseball, and Sue Spicer, Narrows High School Head JV Softball.
I move to make that, we approve those coaching contracts.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any questions?
That's over here.
All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve the following employment of Stephen Watkins, Mason McClarity Elementary Teacher for 21-22. Caitlin Harvey, Mason McClarity VPI Teacher for 21-22. Austin Cooper, Giles High School Special Ed Teacher 21-22. And the transfer of Sarah Woods from Eastern Middle School Teacher to the Eastern Elementary Middle School Reading Specialist for 21-22 school year.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve the following bid proposal. Ask the board to approve the bid for the Ag Lab truck. That was the 3rd time we bid it, and we got a bid from Newberry Ford for a 2012 Ford Super Duty F-350 4-wheel drive. It's got a dump bed on it. So ask the board to approve that.
I move we approve that.
Second. Motion and second. Any further discussion? I think we need to keep low.
I'm not.
Granted,
Can't do that.
Oh, gosh. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve, I think you were presented a copy of the April 22nd, 2021 minutes, so I need to ask the board to approve those minutes at this time.
Make the motion, we approve the minutes.
I'll second, I'm hungry.
Were they that bad?
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Did you look at them? Were they okay?
All those in favor?
That's the minutes. Need to ask the board to approve the following volunteer agreement. Sarah McLaughlin, Narrows High School track coach.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Need to ask the board to approve the amended retirement date for W.R. Johnson. Will be amended to April 1st, 2021.
I'll make it motion.
Can you repeat that? I missed that.
Need to ask the board to approve the amended retirement date for W.R. Johnson to April 1st, 2021 from July 1st, 2021.
We have a motion.
I just missed that part of it.
We have a second.
I'll second that.
A motion and second. Any further discussion? Just moving it up earlier.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All those in favor?
Oh, let's see. I think that's the only other thing I had was congratulate, I think Lady Spartan tennis team, they were district champs, so congratulations to them as well. Now, I think I'll turn it back over to you all. We do have some dates we need to finalize.
Yeah, Melissa, I know you do you have final comments?
Oh gosh, that could take me a long time. Well, before I do leave, I do want to thank Madison, because I know you're getting ready to graduate, and I want to congratulate you and tell you you've done a fabulous job this year. And I've really enjoyed, I love your enthusiasm, and I know you're going to do a great job.
Thank you.
But thank you so much. And again, just thank everybody else. Big shout out to everybody. I know graduation's here in the next couple of weeks, and congratulations to all our grads. And thank you, teachers, again, for a great year. I know it was tough, but we got it done. Thank you. I gotta go. Spray tans. Hannah will not be happy if I'm not there.
We will I'll have
Send me some
Amanda send you
dates.
dates for meetings we'll be talking about in a few minutes.
Okay. Yeah, because I'll have to make those schedules.
Yes.
Thank you.
Philip, you wanna go?
I can. And again, just like to thank everybody, Dr. Argay, Mr. Mustang, Amanda. Everybody's had anything to do with educating our kids during all this mess we've had this year. Thank you. You've done an excellent job. I want to thank Ms. Madison, like Melissa said, she's done a very good job.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Good luck in your future.
thank you.
Volleyball team again, congratulations to them. Miss Mandy Haven's done an excellent job. I want to recognize Hannah and Alyssa again for Hannah getting her 1,000th kill and Alyssa getting her 2,000th assist. They couldn't have done that without great teammates. And congratulations to them. Ben Hart, I think we recognized him earlier in the meeting, but congratulations to him for winning the state in swimming. All of our tech center students, congratulations to them on their skill competitions, Dr. Arbogast mentioned a while ago. And I guess that's about it, but just thank everybody for anybody's had anything to do with school this year. I know it's been tough, like I said a while ago, hopefully we don't have to go through this again, but heaven forbid, if we do, at least we have a little playbook to go by. So, that's all I got.
Ms. Wilbur?
I won't take much time, we've got 2 or 3 stories like this. When I was a young kid. No, Madison, thank you for attending. You've been here, at so many meetings, and I applaud you for that. The interest you've taken, with us old, boring people. But no, everybody's done a tremendous job. I'm not gonna thank everybody, but thank everybody. I was wanting to thank Mr. Holler, man, I still look like he was here earlier and left.
We had last.
Yeah, we did that last time. I know he was the principal of Johnson High School for the last couple of years. Gonna take an easier route. I don't know if it's easier going back to the classroom, but going back to Macy. I got to speak to him for quite a while, a couple of weeks ago. And, nobody knows, well, I guess, Lisa, Dr. Arbogast knows the tremendous time it takes on you, being one of these administrators, especially at the high school level, before school, during, after, at night, weekends. It affects you, affects your health, affects everything, time-wise, if you've got kids, if you don't. I know, speaking to Tim, she's got a family member, his mom's, up in age, and he wants to spend time with her. And we talked about that, and I told him I don't blame him. There's more things important than your job, and I think he chose to leave. That's one of his biggest concerns. But that's why I admire those administrators for the time they put in and for our teachers and counselors and all the ones, you know, from the ones that are working in schools that drive our kids. You know, what a tremendous responsibility that is, but, like I said, we learned this year and at the end of last year, not one group can do it without the other. And, again, thanks for, everybody's involvement and everybody's concern. And again, for our kids, you know, the kids have not quit, you know, they've continued, but they'll remember this the rest of their lives, and maybe they'll be stronger by it, you know. Nothing can get to them because of this maybe, and so maybe there's some good things that resulted in this. So, guys, thank you for all you've done, so that's all I have.
Mr. Bubba?
I better mention one more before I get in trouble. Better. Thank my dad for his 20 years of service for driving the school bus, and congratulations to him. I know he didn't, he didn't really want to, but I think he had a little pressure from home, so.
He's been known to voice his opinion too at times.
Marty.
Yeah, I forgot about Marty. Marty's 30 years at Giles County Schools. He's done a tremendous job, and congratulate him on his retirement and best to him in his future. I'm done.
Okay. You done too? Okay. No, I would like to echo, I guess, all the retirees with Marty and Mr. Pennington. You know, thank them for their service to school and all the retirees. Very, again, thanks to paraphrase Mark, to everybody that fought to get through this year and almost to the finish line there. And thanks to the students for it's been tough for you guys. We appreciate it. Madison, you especially, I think you've been a great representative.
Thank you.
You're welcome, and you're, I think you'll do super successful. You'll be super successful in whatever you do. Fine young lady, and do your parents proud. Got two pretty good parents.
I got lucky with those two.
Yeah, I got a pretty good neighbor too.
Yeah. They're all right. They're great.
The Kellums are nice, aren't they?
Yeah, they're great people.
That was good. That was good. Oh goodness, no, we kid.
We love the both of them.
It was great to have you here. You did a great job. Speaking for your fellow students. Do want to, again, Dr. Arbogast spoke about the Narrows High School theater team, state runner-up. Ms. Heather Rosano has done a great job with that program. And great honor, especially this year to get that done. Great group of kids. The tennis, the ladies tennis team there at Narrows, they've had a great season thus far. Boys tennis is doing well, the other sports. I mean, the great thing is to go out and go by our schools in the afternoon, the athletic fields, and seeing these kids out and getting, weather's turning and having them out there. It's just awesome. It really is. But that's, again, just want to thank everyone for fighting through and hopefully close down this year and get started on the next.
All right, there's not much left. I do want.
Oh, one thing I forgot to say, because, again, congratulations to the volleyball team at Giles there. I'm thinking about the theater team at Narrows, but that was exciting. And I wasn't gonna leave them out, Mark.
You just don't care. I mean, I couldn't be happier with how we finished. As I said before, a lot of times people don't remember the journey as much as they do how you finished. And the kids have finished strong. They're powering through the SOLs. Caitlin took her trig. SOL was 2 hours and 45 minutes. Just crushing amount of time for those kids to sit. stressed out because they didn't know if they were ready or not, it hadn't been a normal year. So the pressure on them, I love our teachers, they have powered through all of the people that support that, but the kids, I mean, that's why we're here. And they were challenged this year, they really were. And they've made it happen. I think Mark said something earlier, this generation will be different in a lot of ways, and I hope that a lot of it is good, and it builds some resiliency in them, and sometimes life isn't what you want it to be. A lot of times it's not, it's what you make of it. So I'm proud that our teachers pushed through, that our coaches came back and found a way to give the kids, their theater people, their band, all those leaders have found a way to make something happen. Whether it was a partial season, or let's get out and be part of the community and play where you can, and everybody's just excited to get back. So kudos to everybody that made that happen, from administration down. Excited that we've found a way to have graduation. Come out in droves. Come out as a community that hasn't been able to be a part of anything, that you've been trying to get a ticket to get to a game. You don't know how you're gonna, this is it. We're finally able to come out and fellowship and celebrate these kids making it through just a terribly difficult year. That's gonna be our celebration day. So kudos to everybody got us there. I will say the volleyball stuff, everybody so supportive. So proud of them and Hannah. It's something that they'll have under their belt for many, many years. So one last thing, the tech center, the cosmetology, ladies and gentlemen, went to Richmond, and there was a host of them that officially passed their certification through the DPO order. So that is the end game we're looking for those folks. I think we have probably some more we'll recognize for the other curriculums we have in the tech center, but I mean, those folks just graduated college, in my mind. They're going out and they're gonna start making money, and they're gonna work on my car, they're gonna cut my hair, they're gonna provide some service immediately to us, and that is what we're all trying to get to, is how we can give back and be part of the community. So tech center kids, we need more and more of them. That program is just magnificent. Jason said that earlier. So Floyd County, I was there watching track. They're in the middle of building a whole career technical center there on their campus. And I think they spent a lot of time here looking at what we've done to model theirs after us. So it says a lot about what we got. That's all I've got, and I think we should let this young lady present anything that she might have this end of the year. She's got an entire book. Dr. Roberts used up all your time.
If I can just have your attention for about 3 hours.
Okay.
So like Dr. Arbogast, our board member, said, we are super excited for our tennis teams and for our theater team. It's been really cool to see how that program has sort of blossomed the last couple of years. It's grown substantially, which is just incredible. And we're super proud of Miss U and all of those folks. And of course, congrats to Giles Volleyball. Since this is my last meeting and one of my last few days as a student, I wanted to thank y'all, but I didn't think I'd be able to ad-lib it, a proper thank you, so I wrote it down. Administrators, board members, and everyone at GCPS. To find the words to thank a group of people who've worked to ensure that I've been educated for the last 13 years is pretty hard. While I've only recently become aware of most of the work that y'all do to make the decisions that impact me and my classmates every day, please know that your work has been so appreciated. If I had to choose a few specific things to thank you for, as hard as it is to narrow things down, it is these. First, thank you for working to ensure that my senior year could be as normal as possible during this crazy time. This time last year, I wasn't sure if I'd have a senior year, so thank you for each and every hard decision that you've had to make for us this year. It will truly be one I'll never forget. Secondly, thank you for giving me the opportunity to attend the Southwest Virginia Governor's School. Because of that opportunity, I've taken 11 extra math and science courses conducted and presented my own research, and prepared myself for a career in science. While the hardest academic challenge I've ever been faced with, your willingness to send me has helped me grow tremendously as a student and a person who has learned that the only limits that exist are those we create for ourselves. And working alongside classmates from other school districts, I say wholeheartedly that I'm blessed to come from the place that I do, and I'm always proud to say that I'm a Giles County kid in the group. Finally, thank you for allowing me to serve as the Narrows High School School Board representative. I've enjoyed attending these meetings each month, and I now know more than ever I've grown to appreciate the things that you do for us, not only at these meetings, but every day. While they aren't present today, I'd also like to thank every person from Narrows Elementary Middle School and Narrows High School, especially Mr. Bowles and Mr. Lusk and Mr. Franklin. Each and every person there has played a role in my education and in making it the most positive experience I could have ever imagined, and for that I am eternally grateful. Because of them, I am a proud Green Wave today and always. While I will miss being a student, it is because of them, the school system, and the faith you placed in my attendance at the governor's school that I'm confident I'm ready for whatever crazy things await. That preparation and the memories I'm left with are the greatest parting gifts I could ever receive. Thank you for the opportunities that you've presented me with, and I look forward to representing my home wherever I end up next. And in the words of Mr. Lusk, go Big Green. So thank you.
Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you.
Now, you play your cards right, maybe one day you can be a bigger.
Oh, that's a thought.
Who would want it?
What better way to end the meeting, in my opinion, than that, unless anybody else has anything else? Dr. Arbogast?
Dates?
Dates. All right, next work session. We will need, probably in addition to a call meeting to officially approve the agenda, or the board, the budget, Dr. Arbogast. So we're looking at, let's look at the work session first. So how about the week of, the first, the week of the first is, I guess it's not out. Graduation's
Graduation's 3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th.
Tech Centers is the award ceremonies that evening at 7 on the 1st.
I'm gonna try to squeeze, Dr. Arbogast, you and Lisa may be wide open that whole week. Can we carve something out that week, or you wanna try to move it to?
The week after is not good for me.
Okay.
The 8th through the 11th is not good for me.
What does the 2nd of June look like for everybody?
Likely got the meeting with the 2-2 meeting, board of supervisors that day, so just keep that in mind if that's the
Maybe afterwards.
Want to do it after that?
2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that.
Wanna do that?
Yeah. Oh, that's retired.
First, I
So
think.
we'll
Oh,
shoot
it's on at
for,
the second, okay.
Yeah, I
June
think,
2nd.
for 3 o'clock for,
unless you want to, what was the first? What do we say?
First is
first
CTE
is the Tech
graduation.
Center
What time is
graduation.
it?
7 o'clock.
Is the first better?
Well, the first, if some of you all were coming for retirees anyways, you could just come a couple hours early. No, I can't do that. Never mind.
You don't want to do all
No,
that.
I can't do
Retirees on the
that.
same day as the Tech Center?
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, retirees are 4 o'clock.
I can't be here and do everything.
Yeah.
And never mind.
June 2nd.
Second.
June 2nd, 3 o'clock.
And that'll be a board,
Work session.
is the goal to approve the budget?
Just do there are times in June we do 2 board meetings anyway, so we could just do a board meetings and work session.
I thought we'd probably have a June board meeting.
Now, you're gonna have now historically, we've had a closeout meeting, which would be June 30th.
You need budget approval before then.
We need to meet with Kevin that day on the 3rd too, if we could.
On the 2nd, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, really, to know whether we're gonna have the budget to approve will determine how it goes tonight
Right.
and how meeting goes on the 2nd.
Can we make the work session, could we approve the budget during a work session since it's a non-voting?
We can make it a voting,
I
so we
can-
can do whatever.
I'm saying you can make it a voting, so that's why I say, if you wanna make it a meeting, but if we make it a meeting on the 2nd and we have nothing to vote on, that's okay. But if we have a work session on the 2nd and have something to vote on, then that's a problem.
Well, let's go ahead and make it a voting meeting. And we're still not ready for some reason, we can
I can-
add another.
I can put,
We are going, and I need to throw a wrinkle in as well, we are going to have to hold a hearing.
How much notice we need for that?
14 days. So I'm thinking the week of the 14th through the 17th is when we would have to hold that.
That's the next meeting we need then.
so 3 in June?
So the hearing would be the week of the 14th, Dr. Arbogast?
Yes, sir, sometime,
Does it matter,
uh,
middle of the week?
we have sub-training on the 16th, so that would be tough for us, so
If we're gonna keep a regular meeting,
17th,
17.
17th?
what's wrong with 17th? Oh, I thought you were shaking your head.
Oh, no, he said regular meeting, and we were saying June, we have a closeout meeting.
But I'm just saying, like.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I just have a calendar reminder, I said it.
Well, if we've already got to do a public hearing on that date, could we not do the closeout? Is there a reason the meeting's on the 30th?
Because that's closes the year basically, and you approve any of the bills that come in.
Okay.
Because if you're on the 17th, you'll have another week, possibly week and a half.
But let's do the 17th and then let's plan our closeout meeting to be as brief as.
Yeah. So 17th, we're gonna call that a public hearing? Or is that gonna be a
Public.
regular meeting?
It's not a public hearing, we have to have a hearing.
Okay, what time?
You tell me what time you want to do it. We can do it during the day.
What's everybody on the 17th? You want morning or afternoon?
I'd say do it that afternoon at 1 o'clock,
Okay.
2 o'clock, it's up to y'all.
I've got both those times, somebody else needs to move around.
So June 2nd, June 17th,
June 17th is the
hearing,
hearing,
and then June 30th at 7:30 a.m.
so, yeah, close it.
Yeah.
1 o'clock
On the 17th.
on the 17th, everybody good with that?
Can you email that out tomorrow, man, and just make sure I get this right?
Yeah. So June 2nd, meeting, June 17th, work session / hearing.
June 2nd, work
June 2nd is a meeting.
Meeting,
is a meeting. 'cause we're
June,
gonna vote.
June 17th is a meeting,
hearing,
hearing, and then close out on the 30th,
7:30 or 7?
7:30 a.m.
Good. Okay.
motion to adjourn.
Alright,
I motion to adjourn.
got a motion?
Sorry.
Got a second? Any further discussion?